In the year of 1914, the world was in conflict. Different countries in Europe and the rest of the world had different views on each other's governments. World War I was a conflict in Europe. At this time, the United States was in a state of isolationism, trying to avoid conflict and maintaining peace. After a German U-boat had sank a British liner with Americans on board, tensions then got high between America and Germany. After a German U-boat sank 7 merchant ships and the publication of the Zimmermann telegram, Wilson then called for war against Germany. During World War I, the United States proved to be very important to the Allied nations by taking key towns and objectives in Europe, providing economic support and military support that was desperately needed. The Americans were a major help in taking key towns and objectives in Europe. One of the first objectives the American Army was appointed to take was the town of Saint-Mihiel. The German-controlled Saint-Mihiel was chosen for the first U.S. Army offensive. 300,000 troops assembled at this sector in September of 1918, ready to take the town. By September 16th, the entire Saint-Mihiel area was under Allied control. This shows the vast amount of power the American Army has. Their first offensive and first attempt at taking a major town, and they succeed. After the success of the Saint-Mihiel campaign, the Allied forces still continued east towards Germany. After the Saint-Mihiel offensive, Marshal Ferdinand Foch, Allied Supreme Commander, decided to order an attack at Meuse-Argonne in an attempt to cut off the entire German army. General John Pershing, General of the American Army, was given overall command of the operation. The American Army was given the main attacking role. Colonel George Marshall had the difficult task of bringing 400,000 troops from the successful Saint-Mihiel campaign to take part in the Meuse-Argonne offensive. The American Army, led by General Hunter Liggett, used more than 300 tanks in the offensive. The advance was supported by General William Mitchell and 500 aircraft from the United States Air Service. 2/3 of the soldiers involved in the advance had just arrived from Saint-Mihiel, and the exhausted troops only advanced 3 kilometers along a 64-kilometer front on the first day. Progress remained slow, and the offensive eventually came to a stop on September 30th, 1918. The Meuse-Argonne offensive was resumed on October 4th, 1918. The German army, suffering from the influenza epidemic, held on until November 4th, when they began to retreat. Fresh U.S. troops were moved to the front and had advanced 32 kilometers when the armistice was announced on November 11th, 1918. The entrance of the American Army so late into the war was crucial for the Allied nations. The power that the Americans had was much needed at the time to end the war as quickly as they could.